Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty Roundtable Radio Talk Show.
Welcome back to Liberty Roundtable Live, top of the second hour, hour one in the can. We are back with your host, Sam Bushman, and along for the ride today, of course, myself from the Big Mig team, Lance Migliaccio, and my brother from another mother, George Ballantine. We'll be talking about when will there be accountability and consequences for the government elites. Will it ever happen? When will income taxes be abolished? Hopefully very soon. I'd love to see that happen personally. And now maybe a much more important question. Why do George, Lance, and Sam not have a magic money computer? That's what I want to know. Sam, do you have a magic money computer?
I do not, sir. The only thing I have is a computer that seems to lose money every time I turn around. I log into my account, and there's less money in there every time unless I just absolutely wake up at 6 a.m. and work hard till like 11 p. and then drop and do it again 6 days a week. On the 7th, I rest as a tribute to my God. And other than that, my money just continues to deplete faster than I can make it. It seems, Lance.
Lance, George, what about you?
Hold on,
George, you have a magic money computer? That's what I want to know. Do you have one?
I cannot confirm
have you been
or
holding
deny.
out on me?
I cannot confirm or deny that. But Sam doesn't have one. If he did, he'd be paying for that dinner at Mar-a-Lago.
I'd be rolling to Mar-a-Lago.
He'd be spending 500 entries right now trying to win a trip.
But here's the point. Even if I did sign up and put in $100, they're not going to take that seriously. Somebody's going to basically download a spreadsheet, prioritize the list, see who donated the most, and favor the rich.
Sam, you got the money magic computer, though. If you had it, you can give them 20,000, 100,000. It's no consequence. You know why?
Yeah.
Because everybody has control of these magic money computers. 14 of them are paying trillions of dollars out. But you know what? You know what's funny?
So let me get
hold on,
down
Lance.
to this, though.
No, nobody knows. Nobody has said where the money from this computer, where they're drawing it from. And we haven't seen any consequences yet.
But we've got to share with the audience. It sounds like we're talking about an inside joke here. Maybe the audience doesn't know about this yet because the mainstream media sure isn't covering it.
No one's talking about it.
That's why we're covering it on Liberty Roundtable Live. You know, the news the networks refuse to use. There's a reason the tagline is used here. Money doesn't grow on trees. It appears that it magically appears from computers. So Elon Musk just did an interview that I think is a damning interview. It should have exploded everywhere. If anybody wanted to talk about an issue, this would seem to be an issue. First of all, Elon's been talking about how the government network of computers does not seem to really be connected in any way. Each one of these systems, you would assume with all the billions and billions of dollars we've invested in infrastructure for all these different agencies that all the computers would have some sort of connection. But that's not the case. They all seem to run independently. And now he's disclosed that DOGE, in their audits, discovered at different organizations 14 magic money computers that basically make money just out of thin air, meaning they're not necessarily tied to the budget or through congressional approval. Now, of course, we know Elon Musk. If anybody knows tech, he clearly does. He was just on Ted Cruz's Verdict podcast, and this is an explosive interview that should just be everybody talking about. He's saying that these government computers can basically just conjure up trillions of dollars. Now, that doesn't mean that the Federal Reserve isn't going to charge us for that. They're not going to charge us the interest because I'm sure they came up with this idea. Hey, let's give these independent machines that run outside of Congress and they can just print money. But these computers have been discovered at the Treasury Department, the Department of Health and Human Services, the Department of Defense, and even the State Department. So far, as of this interview, they found 14 of them. Now, George, what do you think of this? Don't you think it's selfish that the Big Mig Show and Liberty Roundtable Live don't have one of these computers in our grasp?
Well, I could tell both of you gentlemen that if I did have access to one, all three of us, including all your families, would be in Mallorca right now doing this radio show.
Yeah, in Mallorca. So yeah, exactly.
I'm not holding out on you guys, but...
I thought we'd be doing the show at Mar-a-Lago.
No.
Yeah, no.
Why do you want to stress yourself out
We'd
over
be on
there?
the beach, drink. You'd be asking me, Lance, should we have the cracked crab or the lobster? And then George would go, why not both?
That's a good one.
Yeah, and then George would order about 5 desserts, then nickname him Dessert Boy, wouldn't they?
No,
Man,
I'd be getting clams on a half shell and oysters, man. Forget the desserts.
Yeah, we'd be dining on the beach every day, watching all the tourists and laughing to ourselves. Oh, isn't it quaint how the tourists operate? Because I've got to tell you, this is just and really tell me why this isn't the biggest story anywhere that somehow our government has created. We know why. I mean, I know what you're going to say already, but I'm saying for the audience, have you guys even heard about this in the audience? This is unbelievable, right? I mean, they just have these independent computers, no congressional oversight, no oversight at all, and you just punch in some numbers. Hey, here we go. Let me get some extra condoms for Gaza. I want to do a DEI opera in Palestine. Let me send over some transgender support to India. They just type it up, send whatever they want.
Yeah, and the question is who even, has the ability to type that up. What I find fascinating about the whole thing is the reason that it's happening is they're just like, hey, what are you going to do about it? I mean, they've been doing this for 100 years to the Federal Reserve, and now they've just got independent computers. So it's kind of like when the government steals from you, and then they get mad because someone stole from the government.
The first person that they locate that's been typing in these invoices should be arrested. The person in charge of that department should be arrested. The person that installed the computer should be arrested. But that's my problem. That's my biggest argument. Because if it was Sam Bushman, the flashbangs and the 50 undercover and armed SWAT teams would already be kicking in your door.
I don't think they can even correlate me. They don't even know who I am. They don't have any way to know who I am.
They sure as hell don't know how to email you. Sam, we need to indict you. What email are you using now? No, but you understand my point. Any one of us.
Your point's a great one.
If any one of us hacked into the government system and created our own magic money computer, it would be only a matter of time before they'd be kicking in our door, seizing everything we have, grabbing our families, kicking our dogs. They would do all of that. My point is, when is the other shoe going to fall? When is it going to drop? When is the axe of justice going to swing both ways?
No, it's not.
That's my unease about the administration right now.
Do you think it is? Do you think it is, George?
Days.
I want to go back to Sam. Sam, why do you think no one's saying anything about it? I want to hear the answer.
Because they're criminals, and the deep state's criminals, and they say, what are you going to do about it? So what? We have these computers. Who cares? What do you we've had the Federal Reserve doing this for 100 years. Now we have some computers with even less, oversight. What are you going to do about it?
So what's amazing, well, not amazing, I guess amazing but not amazing, is Elon Musk was on Ted Cruz's podcast when he disclosed this information.
Senator Ted Cruz.
I was just going to say Senator Ted Cruz. I don't hear Cruz bringing up anything in the Senate about this. I mean, did Congress allow this funding?
Yeah.
I mean, they have oversight, but I don't see them doing anything about it either.
They don't have any oversight. Cruz just found out from Elon that it's happening. Right? Cruz is like, oh my gosh, explain this to us. Let's listen to this soundbite and then we'll talk about it more. Here it is.
One of the things you told me about is what you call
insane.
Magic money computers at the Treasury.
Well,
so tell us about it, because I never heard of that until you brought that up.
Okay, so you may think that the government computers all talk to each other, they synchronize, they add up what funds are going somewhere, and it's it's coherent. That the numbers, for example, that you're presented as a senator, are actually the real numbers.
One would think.
One would think. They're not.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, they're not totally wrong, but they're probably off by 5% or 10% in some cases. So I call it magic money computer any computer which can just make money out of thin air. That's magic money.
So how does that work?
It just issues payments.
And you said there's something like 11 of these computers at Treasury that are sending out trillions in payments?
They're mostly at Treasury. Some are, but there's some at HHS, some there's one or two at State, there's some at DOD. I think we found now 14 magic money computers.
14, okay.
They just send money out of nothing.
See? Senators just learning about it, buddy, but the Federal Reserve has been doing this for over 100 years.
So here's the thing. I mean, Congress puts out a budget every year, right? So don't they see that?
No.
I mean,
Why should we even cut down trees, George? That's a waste of trees. We don't need to do that. Budgets?
I don't know.
No. What do you mean budgets? Look, they say we're in debt, $36 trillion, and then he says, oh, it might be 5%, 10% off, you know? What's 10% of $36 trillion, Lance?
I mean, I'm just disgusted because, again, they've identified this criminal enterprise of these magic money computers. And once again, the mainstream media is not covering it. Nobody's up in arms about that. They want to keep talking about this signal chat, which I could care less about. And
but does Elon even sound mad? Does Senator Ted Cruz even sound kind of angry, like they've been punked on this thing?
I don't expect Elon to ever sound mad because personally, Elon, he's the richest man in the world. He's going to continue to get richer and richer. I believe he'll be the first guy to hit $1 trillion in worth. I believe that's what's going to happen. But at the end of the day, I don't expect him to get mad. The senator should be mad. Cruz should be just livid about it. But, you know, this is the kind of stuff that happens. And then
but if you're a patriotic American,
listen, are you mad about Chelsea
like Elon
Clinton
should
getting,
be?
But let me ask you this, Sam. I'm mad about Chelsea Clinton getting $84 million from USAID. Why haven't they already seized her house and clawed back all the money and let her defend herself? That's what they would do to anybody else.
Because
they would say, sorry,
state.
We're seizing your property. We're taking all this. I mean, my point is they're seeing these crimes. Why don't they start instigating some arrests? And that you're
here's
spot
why.
on.
If Donald was about,
it's not going to happen.
What if Donald was to try to claw back that money? What would happen? What if Donald said, you know what, we're taking Chelsea's money away? What would happen? A judge would stand up and say, no, you're not. Right? The deep state
I'm going to say
Congress,
this,
somebody would say, no, you're not. And Donald would have his hands tied.
I'm going to say something that won't be very popular. It's time to, like, when you're dealing with this kind of criminality, right? I grew up around a lot of criminals. I grew up in New York. My godfather was a capo for the Gambino crime family, and I observed it up close. And I think those guys were much better people and much less criminals than what we're seeing in Washington, D.C., honest to God. But I'm going to say this. When you're dealing with evil people and you're dealing with criminality at this level, you can't soft-hand it. If the judges want to be part of the criminal enterprise, then yank them out of their beds at night and throw them into Gitmo. If you have to deal with somebody like Chelsea Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, don't compromise. Don't ask the judges for approval. Snatch them, put them in a military tribunal, jam them down in a military tribunal, and then those activist judges won't have any access because they don't have access to military tribunals. They don't do the judiciary in military tribunals. And going to a federal judge or a state judge to try to deal with a military tribunal, they've got no access. So use the military courts. But at the end of the day, if we don't start, and I'm going to say this, maybe Trump needs to be more of a dictator. Maybe it's time to drop the hammer and take some real violent action against these people, meaning grab them out of their houses in the middle of the night and make them disappear down into Gitmo. Don't give anybody, including their own lawyers, representation. And that doesn't sound like a very popular decision, but I know when you deal with people that have made this level and have perfected this level of criminality, there is no patty cake. You're not going to be able to say, oh, we're going to do it this way, and we're going to use the legal process, and we're going to do this, and we're going to have a discussion, we're going to have a committee and another hearing, and we're going to talk about what they did wrong, and we're going to censure them. Let me tell you something. If we play like that, if we don't start doing something more than this, they're going to ramp up more and more and more because they started out kind of quiet because they were worried about how serious Trump was going to be, and he's allowing them to get away with this. Because to be honest with you, the administration are acting like a bunch of pussies.
And you're going to see nothing but a ratchet up of the Democrats. It's going to reach feverish pitch 100%. By probably summer, whatever. I don't know exactly when, but it's going to escalate as they realize there's no repercussions. George, What do you say? I understand Lance's point. I don't disagree with the point wholeheartedly. I do agree with due process, though, and I think there are ways out of this that aren't so brutal. We don't need to make the president a dictator. The Constitution can take care of this stuff if we demand it, though. So, for example, hey, in 2 years, whenever the next election is, next year, it's a little less than 2 years away now, right? It's probably a year and a half away or whatever. You could remove all 435 clowns in Congress in one swoop. Boom, gone. And so the American people need to get serious. And I agree that you can't just be kind to these people. These judges that are activists from the bench, toss them in the clink. I mean, that's what they did to the J6ers with virtually no proof. They held people there. I mean, I've interviewed no less than 4 or 5 people who were there without any real charges. Many of them even got let go after serving their time, and there's not even charges against them. Okay, so we can do that, and I don't like that, but we can do that. It's necessary to take act. What do you think, George? Is Lance gone too far?
No, Lance never goes too far. I mean, listen, we have Gitmo. Miles, let's use it. I mean, it's just our tax money's going for it, so let's make good use of it. But, like, listen, all these judges are crazy. They don't even... So you have 2 countries or 3 countries that they're have diplomacy. They're doing whatever they do to, but no judge has a right to interfere in that. But meanwhile, they're allowing it. So... This Judge Bosenberg, he's out of control. I mean, I always say, Judge, I don't know if he's got kids. I don't wish harm on anybody. What is it going to take? Like one of these judges for their families to be harmed by an illegal immigrant, for them to finally wake up? Nobody wants to see that. We were trying to stop that. But they're welcoming it. But, like recently, the Ninth Circuit Court, they're the most liberal court around. And they just overturned one of the Obama's judge's order, which was great on the immigration, allowing them to not allow anybody into the country. So I don't know. They're the Ninth Circuit. They're the most liberal, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, let me tell you a point about what Lance is saying, and I agree we need due process. I understand that we got to get hard, that you can't just patty cake these criminals. I agree 100%, and their point is, what are you going to do about it? And I'll tell you, here's my opinion. A lot of times you can accomplish a lot by hardcore tactics in very limited situations. Okay, so let me explain what I mean. You can use mark and reprisal against these judges. I know that sounds crazy, but go read your Constitution. If you've got enemy number 1, just say, you can take action against them very, very quickly. Okay, and if you make an example, let's say there's 1,000 judges, and ignore my numbers, I'm just making a point. 1,000 judges want to go against the Donald, and given the chance they'd go against Donald. I'm telling you right now, you hardcore bust in the door like they did to some of our dear friends, Roger Stone being chief among them, right? They kick in your door. You kick in 4 or 5 judges' doors. You literally haul them off to the clink. You send a couple of them on a plane to Gitmo or Guantanamo Bay or whatever, and you take action against a few of these people. And very serious, it won't take very many to make your point and show them. Now 995 judges are going to go, I'm not going to do that. That's not going to go well for me. And so 100%. I believe that we don't need to do much of what Lance is really talking about to show them we're deadly, pardon the pun, serious. And I'm not saying we avoid due process. I'm not saying, but in a few of these cases, they've crossed the line to such criminal territory now to where it's kind of a mark and reprisal discussion. We're beyond these. We need to hunt these people down and say, look, 1,000 of you criminals are not going to do this because we've shown you what we'll do to 5 or 10 of you. We've set the precedent now, and we are absolutely serious. And I'll bet you instantly 99% of these people start crying mama, start calling uncle, start saying, I'm not going there. Don't you think, Lance?
I think so for sure. But, again, I think if you just did like 10 of those right now, watch how quiet the Democrats would get. Watch how quiet the activist judges would get. We're empowering them to add this lunacy to our government, right, to our executive branch of government. We're empowering them by not, again, I've said it over and over again. I'm saying it for the second time on, we said it in the first half, I'll say it again. You can't give people absolute immunity. You can't give them qualified immunity. This thing where they supposedly need to be protected when they're doing their jobs. If you do your job legally, and you do your job with integrity and morality, then you aren't going to face any consequences. So why do you need some preemptive pardon of absolute immunity? Why do you need that if you're going to do their job the way you're supposed to? And where does this lifetime appointment come from? Why should a judge have lifetime security in his job when there's nobody that basically makes no accountability? They can do whatever they want from the bench. There's a saying that goes about judges: never trust a man in a dress. And I think it still holds true, more so than ever.
I agree. And I will say this about these judges, too. Look, it doesn't say they're there for life, really. It says they're there for life upon good behavior. So all we really need to do is impeach a few of these, and all we've had is a couple of little blip discussions about impeachment.
Well, I want to bring something up. we're talking about judges, and let's talk about something that's going on right now. In the Wisconsin Supreme Court race, it's heating up. It's like over 100 million has been put into that race. So you have, Brad Schimmel, he's on the Republican side. But you have this on the Democrat side, you have a judge, Susan Crawford. Now, she was on a Zoom call and got videotaped, and she's saying, get me in the race. If I win, I'm going to make sure Democrats in Congress get, with redistricting and all that stuff. So she's already, breaking laws. So why didn't they just disband her from the race, throw her out, disqualify her right now? Why are they even letting her continue to run?
Because she's going to win.
She was actually got caught selling off 2 congressional seats.
That's no problem.
But meanwhile, the Wisconsin, no one's doing anything about it. What about the feds? Isn't that a federal
They're not
crime?
doing anything about it. Donald's too busy sending me emails begging for money, right? Isn't Donald too busy sending emails begging me for money?
I don't know why Trump, every time he picks an AG, it's like a wash. I think we should just get rid of Pam Bondi and put Sidney Powell in there.
I agree with that, but listen, he's getting advice from bad people. He's got bad people around in the deep state, in bed with Congress, and these judges are doing their very best to absolutely swamp the Donald, shut him down, and drown him. And I'm telling you, they're well on their way to getting that done. And the only way to stop it is a lot of what Lance says. You could take these people, if you go that far into criminal territory, at some point we have got to stop you and arrest you. And then, hey, I'm fine with due process, but we've got to absolutely show them we're serious. And so far, we haven't been willing to. They'll lock us up, but we won't lock them up. That's the bottom line. And I'll give you examples of this. We're being told that they're going to release all these files. Oh, they released the JFK files. It turned out to be a big old nothing burger. Now they say, oh, Israel was behind it. Okay, so they were behind that in the USS Liberty. What repercussions are we going to give to Israel? I mean, we're literally giving Israel all the protections and all the funding and all the training and all the arming the world could ever tolerate, right? What do we do? Okay, and you go down the road, now they say they're going to release some other documents, right, Lance?
Yeah. I mean, that appears to be what the story is anyway, that they are going to release other documents.
That appears.
Yeah, and I don't know. We get into these topics when we start digging in, and sometimes – we started off with winning this election and winning the House and winning the Senate, and you had this real excitement, kind of like a kid that just got the gift he always wanted for Christmas. And and every day I'm getting a little more disappointed. Maybe I'm being too anxious, maybe I'm being too overzealous, but I don't like this rules for thee, not for me continuation of our government. I don't like the unequal application of the law. I don't like them telling me they got to be daddy and mommy government, and they have to filter what they tell me about the JFK assassination for national security, or they have to review what's going on with the MLK files or 9/11 or aliens. I'm tired of it. You're not my mom and dad. It's government for the people, by the people. We pay your paychecks. At least allegedly we do, with the taxes that are illegally collected from us. At the end of the day, I'm tired of this filtering down process. It's one thing if they need to protect some kind of technology they found for, an alien craft that landed and they don't want to make that public because they're going to use it for military applications. Okay, maybe that makes sense. But the fact that the existence of aliens have always been covered up and we know it now isn't true. The fact that the CIA killed a sitting president along with other people and nobody's going to face any consequences. I just want to know, and this is my question for the listeners, when is enough enough? When are we going to do something about this? And when are we going to stop our government from paddling us around like we're a bunch of spoiled children?
As long as we focus on March Madness.
Exactly.
I mean, I know that's a joke, but it's serious in that we're not focused on, we're too comfortable, people, and that's the problem. When we get back, we'll tell you what files they're supposedly going to expose. I don't believe it for 1 second, but we'll talk about it in detail with Lance and George, the Big Mig Brothers, on your radio. You're listening to the one and only hard-hitting news the networks refuse to use, Liberty Roundtable Live.
How would you like to help this program reach more people and earn silver at the same time? Call or text 801-669-2211 for complete details.
Breaking news this hour at townhall.com. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. The Atlantic has released the entire Signal chat among Trump's senior national security officials.
The published Signal chat shows that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth provided the exact times of warplane launches, strike packages, and targets hours before the attack. The disclosure comes after the Trump administration insisted that war plans were not revealed in the messaging app. President Trump dismissed the episode as a harmless glitch and joined other senior officials in trying to discredit the journalist who was mistakenly included in the national security chat group. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Palestinians have held a rare anti-Hamas demonstration in Gaza.
The event in the heavily destroyed northern town of Beit Lahia is a rare show of public anger against the militant group, which has long repressed dissent and still rules the territory 17 months into the war with Israel. The videos, which appear to be authentic, showed hundreds of people taking part in the anti-war protest on Tuesday.
That is Charles Ledesma reporting. Correspondent Jennifer King reports there's an update on the sentencing in the shooter in a Walmart mass shooting that took place in Texas.
The gunman who killed 23 people in a 2019 attack at an El Paso Walmart has been offered a plea deal to avoid the death penalty. Patrick Crucius has already been sentenced to 90 consecutive life sentences at the federal level. El Paso County District Attorney James Montoya said he supports the death penalty, but his decision was driven by victims' families who wanted to put the case behind them. Under the new offer, the 26-year-old shooter would receive life in prison with no possibility of parole. The mass shooting was one of the deadliest in U.S. history. Crucius appears to have been consumed by hatred for Hispanics and debate over immigration before he drove more than 700 miles and opened fire at the Walmart with an AK-style rifle. I'm Jennifer King.
More on these stories at townhall.com.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free, no-risk consultation. 800-292-7875. 800-292-7875. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-292-7875.
Imagine a school where faith and integrity are at its center, where heritage and responsibility instill character, where educating both hearts and minds brings about academic excellence. There is a school in American Fork where character and embracing the providence of a living God are fundamental, where students' national test scores average near the 90th percentile. Based on LDS principles and a love of country, now in our 39th year, American Heritage School is accepting fall enrollment for kindergarten through high school. What would you do for your child? Give them an education that will prepare them for life. Located east of the Temple in American Fork, American Heritage School is a remarkable and affordable alternative. Visit us, find us online, or in the Yellow Pages. American Heritage School in American Fork.
This is a battle between truth and deceit, a battle between forces that would enslave this country in darkness and between a media that wants to present you with the truth. We are being censored. America's news outlets no longer provide the truth. 90% of news outlets in the United States are controlled by 6 corporations. The mission of the Epoch Times is to chase the truth, to ground all statements in fact.
TheEpochTimes.com. Looking for an IT partner that truly understands your needs? Managed IT Services is the answer. We meet with you regularly to discuss your goals and form a tailored technology plan. Our customers have called us a trusted advisor who delivers. When it comes to IT, we do it all. Firewalls, cloud storage, server migration, and more. Say goodbye to long-term contracts and hello to a team that earns your business month after month. Call 801-706-6980 now and let Managed IT Services transform your IT experience.
Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty Roundtable Radio Talk Show.
All right, welcome back to Liberty Roundtable with your host, Sam Bushman, along with the Big Mig Bros, Lance Migliaccio and George Ballantyne. We are live, and you know what? There's an old saying, wise and true, what's done in the dark will come to the light. And President Javier Milei, Argentinian president, is saying, let there be light. He's saying he's going to declassify and release all the records regarding Nazi criminals who migrated to Argentina after World War II. Now, I don't know if you've seen all the documentaries, especially specifically on Discovery and History Channel. There is overwhelming evidence of Nazi memorabilia, hidden structures in the forest over there. You know, there's eyewitness accounts that Hitler was there. So what is going to come down to this? Can you just imagine?
And George, just for so everybody knows, even the CIA, they've already released documents.
I was just going to bring that up.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. So even our beloved CIA over here in America has documentation and about Hitler. So I'm just wondering, what are all the Jewish people going to say and think when they find out that our CIA allowed Hitler to live in Argentina? I don't think they're going to be happy. Maybe this will wake them up and start get away from the liberalism and come to the other side. They're on the dark side, but listen, it's very easily that Hitler had body doubles for Eva Braun. You know, they burnt up. You know, back then there was no DNA, none of that. They had so many hidden tunnels. We know planes. We know YouTube, their subs was seen in Argentina. It's very, you can't deny it. So what do you think? I was talking about this the other day with Lance. And Lance, what do you think? Javier Milei, he's going, wait, President Trump is going to release the Epstein files? I need to do something too. And this is his glory, his day in glory by releasing this. I mean, there's going to be a lot of upset people in the world.
Well, you know, here's my take. I think that Milei's got a little bit of a publicity issue right now, a public persona issue. That Libra crypto rug pull situation he was involved in didn't go well, and it gave him a lot of bad press. So, yeah, I do think that maybe he was looking for something to turn the tide. I mean, I still love Milei. I think Javier's been doing a great job for Argentina. I like what he stands for. But this is a story that's gone around for a long time. We've seen a lot of specials. There's been some documentaries. There's no doubt that here's my take. I don't believe that Eva Braun or Adolf Hitler or many of the top leaders that allegedly killed themselves in that bunker. I don't think it was them. I personally believe there's lots of stories about when they invaded Berlin and the connections from the bunker. There were multiple tunnels that seemed to be destroyed after the fact, and that led to U-boat docking stations at the ports. I don't think that he did die. I think he did live out his life in Argentina. I think that they moved a lot of the Nazi gold and lots of Nazi, the artworks that had been seized from multiple countries. I think they loaded that on the U-boats. I think they negotiated with Argentinian officials for their stay there. I think they scuttled the U-boats and the rest of it afterwards, because there's no doubt when you look online, there are just an unlimited amount of stories of all sorts of artwork, all sorts of Nazi stamped weapons, whether it's rifles, pistols, of course medals, uniforms, and they all seem to have ended up in Argentina. I don't think that's some miraculous. Oh my gosh, how did that happen? They just got teleported here. So there is a reason. There's enough reason to believe that we know that it's a fact. The question is the list going to include some of the top names in Nazi Germany's history? Are we going to see some of the top leadership? And are we going to see that Adolf Hitler was there, Sam?
No, and no. You're just going to get a bunch of redacted gobbledygook. They're going to release page after page. 80,000 pages on the JFK files. They're supposedly saying AI's digging through it. Supposedly Israel did it. We don't have any pager. We don't have any more information than we had before. We've got maybe 3 questions answered and 5,000 questions now that we didn't know we had because of the detail.
You're saying this is a nothing
Yeah,
murder.
that's right. I'm convinced.
All right. I'm going to throw $10 in right now for you to be able to buy yourself a pass to try to go to the Mar-a-Lago.
Mar-a-Lago, yeah, good.
Yeah, and I'm going to
So
say
you think we're going to get pay dirt?
I think Milei is going to bring the pay dirt, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't think I think in his situation, if he hadn't had that Libra, crypto coin rug pull that occurred for everybody out there, it's a coin that came out. Milei was pushing it; they thought it was going to be huge, and then all the insiders rug pulled all the money right out of the gate. Milei went into hiding.
And so that
almost on it.
So that example of that exact scenario, I think is going to happen. So he may even release the pay dirt, but the world will discredit him and say he's a nutcase. It isn't true. And bring enough subterfuge and confusion on that to where it won't really be a release. So when George says, "Hey, I wonder how the Jews are going to respond now," or this and that, you won't see any of that because they'll just say, "Oh, this Milei guy's a whack. Whatever he released is just fraudulent. He's just trying to save face or this or that." The world will never be admitting to this reality. I don't think they'll ever admit to the truth on this thing.
He is saying that he's going to bring a lot of supporting documents about banking, financial operations.
Yeah, how quick's it going to happen? When's it going to happen?
I don't know. He's saying it's going to happen right now, so I don't think he put a timeline.
Oh, well, we can come on the radio tomorrow and see if it happened.
Hey, it might. I put $10 on the line. I put 10.
Yeah.
10
you throwing some cash in, George?
Washington's up there.
I'm broke.
Well, if you had one of them money machines, you could participate.
I know, but I
know
don't.
exactly
That's
my
a
point.
problem.
Where's our money? I want to get back to the money.
I thought
machine.
you weren't going to confirm or deny. Now we got him on record saying he doesn't have one.
You know what's funny? I asked Elon Musk on X. I posted and I said, "Dear Elon Musk, can the Big Mig Show please have a magic money machine? There's 14 of them. Can we have one? Thank you."
Yeah, that's good.
I actually
or we
posted
could just crank up a 15th.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know?
I'd like to listen. George and I decided we only need like a half hour, 45 minutes to make all our friends and family whole, and just
That's right.
That's it, and then we'll shut it down.
Yeah, shut it down forever. Yeah, that's good. Anyway, so I don't know that I'm, and I want to be very clear about this. I'm not saying Milei doesn't have good intentions, that he doesn't want the truth, that he won't try to do his best to get the truth. I think he might. What I think is the world's never going to let him get that done in a very meaningful way. And what you're going to do is you're going to answer 25 questions. Some of them might be a little bit of intentional leak information, so you might get a little bit of pay dirt. But at the end of the day, you're not going to get the repudiation of, look, even if you speculate about this, you're considered an anti-Semite, you're considered a Jew hater, you're considered a Hitler lover, you can't even bring up legitimate questions without being dumped into that pile. And so I don't believe they're ever going to blatantly admit, okay, you know what, it's true, Hitler went to Argentina, da-da-da-da-da. They're never going to lay down that. I just don't think they're there. I just don't think so. No matter what he does, I don't think that it's going to be a consensus that, okay, Hitler didn't die where we were told he was. That was false. This is the truth, and now we embrace that. I mean, because you could even just bring up, hey, when are they going to release the docs on if we went to the moon? You know?
Well, imagine if Trump declassified the CIA documents from knowing that Hitler was in Argentina too.
Yeah, well, that could be
collaboration effort. Because you know why?
See, I don't think Pam Bondi or any of these people are releasing any documents that matter.
Yeah, I don't know. They got like 1,000. They got 1,000 FBI agents going over all the Epstein documents before they release.
Why do we have to? Hold on. Why do we have to go over them?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out the same thing.
What does Jeffrey Epstein? What does Epstein have to do with national security, Lance, George?
Nothing.
Okay, release them then.
Exactly. That's what we're trying to say. But
I'm
you know what?
My name might be in there, and so I don't think you ought to release them yet until I die. I'm just saying. I think you ought to hold off on that for a little bit. Do you think you can do that for me? I mean, it's just a small price to pay. It's just a small
That's
price.
what I said. Someone's paying
saying,
cash under the table.
I don't believe we're getting any pay dirt at all. Everything they say they're releasing, I don't think there's any pay dirt. I think there's just subterfuge and confusion, and you're going to end up with more questions, more conspiracy theories, more debated facts, and they'll have us debate this while they destroy the country.
So I think something's going to come out, that they're going to release something, because right now, the Trump admin's getting hit, somewhat in the news cycle because of the Signal chat, even though there was no plans ever released in there. It was all BS.
Are you talking about the journalists being added to that?
Yeah.
So why are these thugs using Signal anyway, first of all? Secondly, what journalist got added to that? Let's talk about that for a second. What journalist got added? One of our guys?
Jeffrey Goldberg.
Yeah, who is that guy?
He's from the Atlantic publication.
Is he so isn't the Atlantic just a liberal rag?
Yeah.
Liberal rag deal? Okay, so why would that guy even be included at all? I mean, how
I
do you
don't
have
know.
this? You got this liberal rag list that you include journalists, and none of us. They wouldn't be on. I wouldn't be on there because they don't even know who I am. Remember that, right? They don't have so I can't be on there. But how do these liberals all get on there all the time, Lance?
I mean, look, you know,
That's
I'm
who
not
they
even
hang
sure
out
why
with.
that person was even being talked to as much trash as he's talked. You know, that's what I've said all along. I don't understand this continued dialogue with these individuals that were clearly anti-administration, anti-country. To be honest with you, all of them should just be on a list. If they're going to keep a list, that's the list they should keep, and they should all just be cut out of the loop. No more access to the press.
Whatever the situation,
when they
he got
decide to tell the
accidentally
truth-
added onto this chat. That's accidentally. But whatever, the chat did not have any war plans in it. All they were discussing were the pros and cons of striking now versus waiting a month. That's all that was said in the chat. So this Atlantic Jeffrey Goldberg, all he did was sell a big nothing burger to just get views. Clickbait. That's all it was.
Yeah, sounds like the release of docs. You know, we released this, and this guy released that, and I don't even see how that guy couldn't accidentally be released in my list because he's not in my list. That's all I'm saying. But I think that we need to go to Snow White because I just want to feel good about something.
You want to feel good about Snow White? Did you go? Did you take the grandkids and have them watch it?
No.
Come on, Sam.
Absolutely not.
It's tip of the spear right now.
It's a fake news Snow White.
At the end of the day, we've always talked about go woke, go broke, right?
Amen.
You take one of the institutions that we were raised with, and I'm not saying that this institution hasn't had problems for a very long time. I question, now that I've had an opportunity to see a lot of the media that the Disney animation department has decided to put out. There's lots of questionable stuff, but I remember how important this was to my family when I was young. My mom, we didn't have a lot of money, so my mom would actually make popcorn in the kitchen, and she would add butter and put it in these bags, and we would hide that on us to go into the movie theaters because of course they wanted to sell us and stuff, and it was enough for my mom to come up with the money to take us to a movie when there was a new release of a Disney cartoon, right? So it was a big deal for us.
Yeah, magic popcorn.
When you take a cinematic, what I would consider a masterpiece for that time, and then you take this person, this actress, Rachel Zegler, and you destroy that, you have her start by, proving the best way to honor a timeless fairy tale like this is to lecture everyone about how outdated it is while exuding all the charm of what I would consider a nasty, left-leaning person would be. First of all, I don't know that cartoons should be political, right? I just don't feel like that. I feel like there should be neutral territory for our children. Let them decide for themselves.
Imagine that.
You take this franchise, this valuable franchise, and then you start posting this. Rachel Zegler, she's just such a sanctimonious, arrogant little person.
You're on the radio.
And the drivel. And what is with Disney casting people? This girl's eyes are like so far apart. She looks like some kind of a semi-alien being, She starts talking about how dwarves and the princes, she's like this girl boss talking about, how irrelevant they all are. Now, remember, this is what this story is all supposed to be about. I mean, listen, IMDb right now, she's dropped to a 1.8 out of a 10 approval rating. And it might even, and I'm sure it's even going to go lower. The approval rating everywhere is just dropping. And when does this stop? When do they learn their lessons, these companies?
George, you want to answer first?
No, you go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say. You're making me laugh today. Go woke, go broke. That's all I got to say. When is Disney going to wake up?
My response is this. When's it going to stop? And the answer is when the American people decide they're going to quit playing games with entertainment. It's March Madness month. As soon as they decide, look, we're going to just drop these clowns. Disney's done. They're so criminal and they're so perverted that we don't want any part of them. But you got Disney like a cult in America right now. And until they, jettison the cult, until they quit being brainwashed on this, these guys are promoting every perversion that we hate and stand against as God, family, and country type people. And until the American people wake up and jettison that, they're going to continue. It's that simple. I mean, they're promoting these perverted stuff. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. Okay, we're going to keep doing it then. Right?
I mean, if they want to keep losing money, go ahead.
They don't care. They don't care. They probably got part of the money machine. One of them 14 computers probably has a banking routing information right to Disney's wallet, right? Yeah, I'm just saying. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm just telling you. Where do these companies get off and have so much money to where they don't even care what the American people think anymore? The answer is it's coming from somewhere, but you got to follow the money trail. But see, we can't even expose the money trail because all the judges stop us, right? And then no one goes after the judges, and then they just smirk and go, what are you going to do about it? Stupid people. What are you going to do about it? And that's really the mantra. That's the bottom line. That's how it happens. But we got a cool jewelry story to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. Do you want to do this one, George?
Sure, because, it's funny when Lance brought this story. My brother's best friend, who they grew up together, I've known him all my life. He's head of security for all of Tiffany's throughout the whole country. Matter of fact, I just texted him. I just texted him just now to ask him about it, and he said,
heavens.
He goes, yep, I saw the pictures. He was handcuffed to a bed getting pumped full of laxatives. So we have a guy who swallowed $770,000 worth of Tiffany earrings, and it took him 12 days to expel them. 12 days. Is it because it's diamonds? They don't want to come out, but 12 days getting pumped full of laxatives? This guy thought he was going to get away with it, but he didn't.
This is a different kind of money machine, gentlemen.
I feel bad.
Well, I can't figure out 12 days. First of all, I have to think about the people that had to go through the bucket because they probably had him in a dry cell, right? Because they wanted to not make sure.
Well, he's in a hospital, handcuffed to a bed.
This is 700. It's $750,000 worth of earrings.
Yeah, but that's just
crazy.
Pennies, people.
You try to grab a ring too, I guess.
We're not even talking millions or billions or trillions. We're just talking millions here. It's like pennies.
Not even 770,000. Not even $1 million.
Yeah, we're talking hundreds of thousands.
Pennies.
Yeah,
nothing.
Yeah,
the money machine can crank that out in probably less than a microsecond, gentlemen.
But here's the crazy part. So they get this guy, right? They catch him. He drops the ring. Somewhere in the scurry, he swallows these diamond earrings. He was actually acting like he was representing some NBA player that was going to come down and buy jewelry. He had to preview the jewelry, right? So this is how he gets, Tiffany's to bring it out. But here's the crazy part. This guy had 48 outstanding warrants in Colorado. He'd already committed jewelry heists, I guess, in 2022 in Woodland, Texas. But 48 outstanding warrants in Colorado. I find it hard to believe that you can walk around with 48 warrants and not get snatched up.
Well, in modern days, you can. The only people that get snatched up are constitutional conservatives, gentlemen. It's easy to understand why this is happening.
If you walk into the rotund and hand out tuna fish sandwiches or cookies,
you're done,
track
bro.
you down.
That's correct. If you dare not pay your penny to the IRS, you're done. If you want to stand up and say, hey, J6 is a fraud, or I don't believe in this, or I don't believe in DEI, or this and that, I don't believe in global warming, or we didn't go to the moon, or something like that, then, buddy, you're over. You're done. You'll go to jail for like 2 years, and then when you get done, they'll be like, no charges. What are you going to do about it, right?
Exactly.
So anyway, very straight. This story's real. This story. This guy swallowed literally $750,000 worth of earrings. Now I don't understand. Aren't earrings like pointy on one end and everything? And wouldn't it just rip your guts apart? I don't even get it.
You would think that it would be a bad process. I don't. Think
Do you want to write a letter and ask him when he had to expel them out?
Yeah. Dear Mr. Gilder, how is your colon? How is
do you
your
have
colon,
some bleeding?
Sir?
Is there some bleeding over there?
Internal bleeding going on over there. Anyway, I don't even understand really the story.
But
I would have swallowed the ring or something else.
I thought laxatives. How do you take laxatives for 12
For 12
days?
days. I don't even know. This thing is so weird.
That is a not good situation.
Well, you know what?
But I'll tell you this.
Listen,
we got more on this than any of the files being released. I'll tell you that right now. 80,000 pages, and we have less information than this story, right?
You made a good point. The diamonds, they have the sharp end. Maybe he got stuck in his track with the sharp end. It took some time. Who knows?
Oh God.
I don't even know. Why didn't they just open his stomach and take the stuff out?
I imagine that they were probably going to have to worry about some activist judge telling them they can't do it.
Oh my! I don't even see. This is what I'm talking about. It's just it The news cycle is insane, ladies and gentlemen, and we try on this broadcast to bring sanity to it all. We laugh through it because we don't want to cry. We're very serious about we need accountability, transparency. We need to be a moral people and turn to God Almighty, and if we do, things are going to go right, and if we don't, I'm telling you right now, you ain't seen nothing yet, people.
Yeah.
What do you say to that, Lance?
No, yeah, I agree.
So, listen, I got something that just came out. I got it on Iran has just launched 200 of their speedboats to a particular area of the Mediterranean Sea. And then from these boats, they can launch missiles from them. This is going to get interesting.
I've always warned they're going to try to turn Donald Trump into a wartime president. Write it down and remember who told you first. Yeah. They want Donald Trump to be a wartime president because then the Democrats will have the next 10 election cycles. What do you think? You think Donald Trump's going to be a wartime president, Lance?
No, he'll just let Israel do it.
Yeah, but if we fund Israel, it's really us. If we fund, train, and arm Israel,
that's how they kind of get around it.
It's proxy, us by proxy, war by proxy. Is that what the case is going to be, Lance?
Yeah, I mean, listen. At the end of the day, the Middle East there's going to be more turmoil there. There's just too much going on.
Whoa!
And at this point, I don't feel optimistic about what the result's going to be. I don't want to see kinetic event. I just saw a crazy video that we actually showed on our show this morning of an Iranian tunnel system that is just loaded with missiles. Loaded. It's a massive tunnel system. They've got the sea container, launching systems. Those ones where they hide the missile systems inside of sea containers. They've got all kinds of stuff down in those tunnels. I don't think this is going to be good. And the only reason they would have showed all that stuff is because they maybe plan on using it.
Yo, I have another breaking story. This is coming in the Daily Mail too. You're gonna secret CIA files claim Ark of the Covenant has been found.
Why would that be secret CIA files?
Well, because they think.
What national security relates to that? Wasn't that like thousands of years ago?
Well, they say the Ark of Covenant holds very powers and stuff. So
Yeah, maybe it's all the gold in there, and when they go into Fort Knox, it won't be there. But they'll be like, it's okay, we got it in the Ark of the Covenant.
Exactly. What happened? What happened to the Fort Knox audit?
Nothing.
That just seemed to go away. What happened there? What happened to that?
Yeah, we're not doing that really. We were just kind of joking. We were just kidding. It's kind of like lock up Hillary. It's just kidding. JK. Not happening. Look, that's what I mean by we're being punked, people. We really are. I don't mean to be negative, and I pray for this country, but the only way to do it is moral. If you want to make America great again, you got to make America moral again. And instead of MAGA, it's got to be MAMA. You got to make America moral again. We're not going to gain ground until we do. I'm just telling you right now. And all these other things are nothing but a farce, a sham. And so I have faith in the greatest country on the face of the earth. I have hope in we the people, but I don't have hope or faith. I'm not smoking hopium, gentlemen. I'm just not.
Yeah.
Don't you think everybody's smoking hopium, Lance?
I think there is too much hopium. I mean, listen, I was hopeful. Right after we won, I thought, well, are they going to drop the hammer? And then I was really excited when he walked in there, with just a bunch of executive orders. And I thought, okay, well, listen, maybe some of those executive orders are going to be really moving in the right direction. And then there was nothing about election integrity to begin with. And then I thought, okay, well, they'll go after the dirty 51+8. It's clear that they're guilty of treason and sedition. They'll go after all the people that lied in the press about the Russian collusion hoax. They'll go after all the political candidates, all the congressional members that lied. Of course, they should get arrested. Nope, nothing. Nada.
They haven't even released all the J6 prisoners, have they?
A big goose egg. I think they might. I think there's only a couple they're still playing games with now.
Yeah, what do we got to do to get those suckers free? Why don't we start talking about the IRS people that have been abused by the IRS? Can't we get them free at least?
Exactly, right.
We got a lot of work to do, ladies and gentlemen. George Ballantine, Lance Migliaccio, yours truly, having a great time on the round table. We joke about a few of these things, folks, just because we want to be cheerful. We do have hope in the greatest country on the face of the earth, but I'm telling you right now, hopium is the drug people are on when they think that we're going to save this country without turning to God Almighty. The reality check is that we've got to do God, family, and country in that order, and then we can gain success if we follow the supreme law of the land. But we've got to prosecute and criminalize these criminals, put them in jail. And until we do, it ain't going to get better, I promise you that. But God save the Republic.